whatever you say has to be so important, and I still fail on this, by the way, within those first 3 seconds.
Welcome to the Way Podcast, where we're here to equip, empower, and educate loan officers from the very best in the business. My name is Dino Katsimetis, and today I have John Farrell from US Bank here. And I got to say, he's, I'm just going to call him obnoxiously good at his trade. Welcome to the show.
Obnoxiously good. I'll take it. I haven't heard that one before. I like the obnoxious.
So the reason why I'm going to tell this story is because I've spent my career in the mortgage and the broker side, right? And I spent my entire career bagging on banking guys. Like, all they do is sit there and wait for the phone to ring. That's all they got. And then I met you and I was like, he's actually pretty good. He knows what he's doing. I struggled with it because I just thought everybody there sucked, but I guess not.
Well, there's a very small few of really good people at the banks. But yes, it is. Unfortunately, we're not as cool as you brokers.
So tell me now, let's start with, who are you today, right? Because then we're going to go back to day one when you started, and we're going to walk through your journey back to today again. So who are you today, personally and professionally?
So who I am today, I mean, if I'm being real, I'm still the same person that messes up a lot and, learns from my mess ups. I think I'm just a little more wise in taking actions and seeing what's working and what's not working. But beyond that's the business side. The personal side is I'm so lucky to have a pretty big family. I've got 3 kids, 21, 19, and 4, and I've got an amazing wife. So I'm a loving father, and I'm still figuring out that role too every day. I'm hit with different scenarios that come up on a daily basis.
So now you're at US Bank, which is obviously a huge bank. We've known each other for a long time, but we actually reconnected, I don't know, a couple years ago, whatever it was, just because in the broker space, we lost all our jumbo loans. We just didn't have any jumbo loans. And I figured might as well give it to somebody that knows what they're doing. And US Bank was really strong at these jumbo programs. I'm assuming it's been a good ride for you because you had really very little competition. What does that feel like in a banking atmosphere? I mean, what is your day like in a banking atmosphere? Do they tell you what to do, or are you really independent and you can just function as you wish as long as you produce?
Yeah, they don't. I mean, well, now, no, they don't tell me what to. I'm kind of the dark horse, I would say. When we show up to some of the networking events and everything, everyone's kind of dressed up in suits and all that, and I'm not dressed up in a suit, and I'm usually showing my tattoos, it was pretty uncomfortable at first, and then I just got comfortable in my own skin. But it's still extremely competitive. I mean, especially where you and I are in Orange County, I think I'm pretty confident to say it was the mortgage mecca, especially in the early 2000s. And it's still a really, really competitive market, even though a lot of people have gotten out of the business. So they don't tell us what to do. No. Well, they don't tell some of us what to do. There is the normal training that we all have. We have to still go through the training and all that. But, if you're producing and you're revenue generating and you're not producing, or you are producing but not producing, you can kind of be your own boss. So.
And how long have you been in the industry now?
I always say 2000. I think I got in 2000, but I think it was actually 99, maybe even 98.
Okay, we've been in the same amount of time. Same for me. I can't remember for sure, but I think it was 98.
Yeah. I remember, I think we met in 2004 or 2005.
Yeah. So dude, let's go back to day one. What, why, when, where, all of it.
Yeah. So when I first got in the business, my mom, I'll leave this very short. My mom was a president of a savings and loan company. Remember savings and loans? And so Um, she actually had me work there on an hourly rate, and I was filing away files because you remember we used to have those big old fat files.
Big filing cabinets.
Yeah, so I just worked with this guy that was like a total Disney fan, dressed like Mickey Mouse every day, and him and I were stuck in this vault of files, and it was really interesting. He was a very eccentric Disney Mickey guy. Um, but yeah, I started working there, and then one day I had this like vision, or I saw these salespeople that I didn't know what a loan officer was, and they were dressed really nice and they're driving nice cars. And I said, "Mommy, what do those people do?" And she's like, "Oh, they're on the sales side." Well, what do they sell? She's like, "Mortgages." I had no idea. So fast forward, I went to college, and then when I was in college, she's like, "Why don't you go work for this company? It's a call center. They basically do second mortgages, or what they were doing 125s.
25s, yeah.
125. So a lot of the audience might not know what that is, but it was a interesting second mortgage that went up to 125% the value of your home. So not risky at all.
And oh, by the way, we'd make 10 points on those deals. It was like just flat 10 points.
Yeah, I had a hard time with that. That's where I got turned off. I personally, I did, and that's what I was going to share with you, is that I went to this call center, and it was generally mostly guys on the floor, and it was the schlum of the schlum, and I got super turned off. I want to get out of the business, so I lasted maybe 4 or 5 months and got out and finished college and waited tables at Morton's.
So did you leave college to get into the mortgage business, and then you went back, or were you doing it at the same time?
No, I was doing it at the same time. I was just, it was just to pay some bills because my parents weren't giving me any money when I was a kid. So it was just strictly there. It was a job. I didn't know anything better.
And then how much time passed before you got back into the business?
Yeah, it was really hard to get back in the business. When I graduated, I was doing really good at Morton's. I learned a lot at waiting tables, so much that's helped me in my career. And my buddy had a refinance call center shop, and so I got into a call center again. It was a little different, not as schlummy. And we were just doing a bunch of refis, no purchases, just refis. But it was a good way to get used to the business. And I had a guy that I was under there that I learned a lot from. So
fast forward a little bit. When did something click? Either where you just started making a lot more money, or like it clicked and you figured it out, and then you started making moves to get better, to grow.
Well, so yeah, it's a great question. So when I graduated college, I really wanted to make $100,000. If I could make $100,000, I was set, like set for life. 100,000 is gonna be perfect. So I went to go work for this guy, this call center, and it was broker, direct lender, I think broker. Anyways, he kind of taught me the things to do, and then I realized I was doing everything, and he was kind of just playing golf. So I lasted like 6 months, and I had just bought my first house. And I was like, okay, I got to figure it out. So I was there from 5 to 7 at night. And what really clicked for me was, I think the benefit of working with the schlums at that old shop was, hey, I actually really care about people, and I really want to help people. And if I can go into the business doing that, then there's so much business out there to be had, because there's not, at the time, at least in my mind, there wasn't as many good people in the business. So it was just an opportunity.
Is this your third place of business or second?
No, that was still at the call center, but I went off on my own at the call center. So I wasn't working under the gentleman that I was working under before.
And how long did you last there?
For quite a long time. We started off at the very bottom and quickly rose to the top, and then I was there until around 2006. So I was there for a while. And my buddy actually, who's still a good buddy, he owned the shop. So it was like, it was a good place. I mean, there were good people that were working there. I still have a lot of friends that, some of them from to this day. But it really taught me a lot more about the business.
So I know your business now is all referral based and self generated. Did you start self generating loans back then, or were you marketing or doing something?
I started to at the very end because I was looking at some of the icons of our business here in Orange County, and I was looking at it going, well, what are they doing? They're not sitting behind a desk waiting for the phone to ring. They're not showing up at 5 a.m. for East Coast calls and staying till 7 o'clock at night for West Coast calls. They're kind of, just out there doing the business, and they're extremely successful, and they're doing very well financially. So around 2006, I slowly started getting into that, but I was still at that place.
Out of curiosity, not to put you on the spot, but do you remember back then who the icons of the business were?
Yes. So Kevin Buddy was one. John Levin was another. And then there was a couple that were probably, Nick Chera, Nate very well. I love Nate. But it was really Kevin Buddy and John Levin.
It's funny for me. Also, there was a few, but Al Hensling was one, and
Yeah.
and the dude's still like, I had lunch with them about a year ago, and I didn't know him. I just called him out of the blue to introduce myself and just say, man, I got a lot going on, and you've always been somebody I respected. I'd love to take you out to lunch. And we went, and it was so funny because back when I started, I said you were like already in the business forever and already one of the old guys to me. And here I am sitting with you, and I'm one of the old guys now, which makes you one of the really old guys.
But he still looks great.
Oh my gosh, he's such a stud. Like he looks great. He's still a huge producer.
Oh,
Dude,
that's crazy.
hasn't slowed down at all. It's insane.
How is that guy? How does he still look good? I mean, he's very, he's fit. He's just like, he's been in the business a long time.
I don't know. I just what I learned after I said that to him, and much has transpired since then. And one of the things that I hope is that I hope that one day other guys can sit back and be like, oh man, those guys, and be talking about you and myself, right? Like that would be such an honor to know that somebody thought of us like that.
It would.
Let's keep moving on this, right?
Yeah.
You know, what kind of volume were you doing back then? Were you making anything of yourself yet, or were you just putting along? Where were you?
You know what's so funny? I don't remember the volume. I just remember the paychecks because at the time, volume wasn't like
A badge of
very
honor
easy to
like it is
me.
now.
Yeah, it was. I was just like, okay, can I pay the mortgage, the new house? Can I do this? Can I pay the car payment? I remember the paychecks. I don't remember the volume until I made the move to Countrywide.
So real quick, because you bought a house. I mean, you must have been doing okay.
Yeah, it was no like stated income loan like they existed. I mean, I qualified, which is nice. But it was price points were like it was in Irvine and Quail Hill. Quail Hill just was, I think it was just being built.
That was your first
Yeah,
house.
it was my first. It was 2000 June. I think it was June of 2005 or six.
Do you remember what you bought it for?
Yeah, it was 720.
Beast of a house back then. What's it worth
Yeah,
now?
I don't know. I haven't that I that was a different story, but that was my. I mean, we're being real, right? That was my first marriage, and it was not the best house. Like the memories there were interesting. So I don't. When I drive by Quail Hill on off, the 405, just keep driving. I don't want to see that place. I'm sure it's done really well.
So you moved to Countrywide. Countrywide was awesome back in the day. I mean, I used them a ton
Yeah,
on the broker space. So you were in the retail space of Countrywide.
I was. Alec Hansen had recruited me.
And real quick, Alec Hansen Senior, right? Because the kid wasn't
No,
even around.
so what I remember is Alec Hansen started another branch, and a few of us buddies had gone there, and we had no idea. Self Gen was, we just didn't know how challenging it would be. And then mind you, this is '06 going into '07, right when the market was getting very interesting. So it was a fun time to get in.
So what was your what was your thing? Was it going after realtors, financial planners, CPAs?
I didn't know. I mean, truthfully, I didn't know what to do. I heard from the people, go talk to realtors, go to broker previews, go to real estate offices. Anytime I go to a real estate office, they'd close the door on me. Um, so what I did is I went through the deals that I had done when I was at the call center, because I stayed in contact with a certain amount of them, and just started asking them, hey, would you mind connecting me with your agent? And then I got two agents out of that, and then kind of just started going from there. And yeah, it was fun.
So that's pretty simple.
Sounds simple.
I think that's a good lesson right there. So, part of my job here is a lot of times all of us do things. We've been doing them for years, whatever. As I hear things, I'm going to just pull out whatever nuggets I can out of it. But guys, for anybody listening right now, I mean, my gosh, it's pretty simple. If you've done loans for people, go back and ask them who their agents were, and can you be introduced to them?
Yeah.
It's not that hard, right? You never know what can come of it.
And what makes it even more simple is reach out to the clients that you really enjoyed working with, because they're going to be similar personalities like yourself. And then most of the time they're going to have a real estate agent that is similar to them, and then you'll click a lot easier. So that was that made it easier for me, because I only kept the clients that I liked. Information.
And would you say you were a good loan officer back then?
No.
No?
No, I had a big heart. I was like very good ethically, more, I had good morals and all that, but I still didn't understand the tricks of the trade of like knowing the guidelines, knowing what fits within your pool of, products that you have. I was learning it. So yes, I was good. Looking back though, was I super knowledgeable still? Not really.
So the timeline of you starting at Countrywide, you maybe had one good year, maybe another half, and then obviously 2008 hits. It's interesting for some people, the ones that were in now non-QM, they think of it as 2007. And I didn't even feel a pinch because I didn't do any of those kind of loans. Mine was all pretty much like A paper or good, strong borrower type stuff, right? And I didn't feel it until late 2008. But Countrywide, when did Countrywide shut down?
2009, somewhere right in there. Yeah.
And during that period of time, I mean, I know what happened to my income. I know what happened to pretty much everybody's income. Here you are at this point, married. How many kids did you have?
I had Ethan. Yeah, that was tough. I think all of us, if we had been putting away money, we probably depleted a lot of that money. Because we were younger, we didn't build, huge amount of funds. So I was, I was taking out 401k loans, and it was an interesting time.
Yeah, I cashed in my life insurance policy, all of it,
Yeah.
just to stay alive. So during that period of time, was there ever a moment where you thought, I'm out. I'm going to have to go get a real job somewhere?
No.
No, you just knew you're going to stick through it no matter what.
The conviction I had, because of how few, and this sounds horrible, but how many bad people were in our business, or at least the people that I would see. I'd go to Starbucks and I'd hear some kid talking about how he's putting this old lady into a neg-am, and he's, telling her it's the neg-am payment's the fully amortized payment, whether it's 15 years or 30 years, just the conversation I heard. I was like, okay, yes, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. But those of us who really are doing good and making an impact, will figure it out. It's going to be really tough. I didn't know anything else though. I had no idea. So I was like, I'm staying in it. And I surrounded myself with a good group of people that we all kind of would, motivate each other. And So there was no ever, there wasn't, I wasn't one of those guys that, hey, I'm going to go do modifications.
Yeah. I remember that now. The modifications. Oh, that was ugly. Just
Yeah.
ugly.
You knew who all went in the modifications. Sorry, I'm going to say it. All the people that were doing the bad stuff then started modifying the loans for the people, their old clients. But yeah, no, I stayed away from that.
I remember one of the companies, I forget the name of it, but it grew really fast. We're talking like 1,000, you know, ex loan officers now turned whatever debt consolidation experts, and then eventually they got raided by the FBI and it just got really ugly. That whole industry was bad. Um, so then you ended up going to B of A, right? Because of the merger.
Went to B of A, and B of A was that was an interesting merger. You're talking now. Now you think about that when you're thinking about the bank people and Countrywide, which was like the good old boy club merging, and it was interesting culture clash.
I would imagine completely
Yeah, it
different
was.
DNAs.
It was really tough, really tough. I mean, we went from Countrywide. I know it's got a bad name, but they had some really good systems and processes in place. I wasn't on the subprime side. I was on the A paper side, but it was efficient at the time. It was very efficient, and technology wasn't nearly what it is today. Um, but going to B of A was was tough.
So what did that DNA look like, and was it? I mean, you're obviously still in the banking industry, so it couldn't have been that bad. I mean, during a period of time when nobody else was making money, at least you were getting a paycheck because they have to pay you there.
No, at the time we weren't on the draws or the whatever the salaries that they do. That if I recall right, that didn't exist. Um, so I don't. It was a tough time. What I do remember though is uh, it would take sometimes 6 to 7 months to get a refinance done, or I'd have purchase loans in the system, and we're in the middle of escrow, and all of a sudden the loan was it was canceled out of the system. Just where's this loan? What happened to the loan? And imagine explaining that to your referral partners. It was tough.
When did you start like hitting it? When things really got good for you? And what happened? Like, why was it just all the hard work over the years, or did you try something new and it worked?
No, I went to so where it really started working was when I switched to Wells Fargo, and I went under Steve Glass, which you probably know Steve. Steve Steve taught me a lot, and probably one of the biggest things that I took away from that is knowing your guidelines, like constantly going into guidelines and studying them because they're constantly changing. That way, when you go out in the streets or you're talking to the agents, you know you know what's going to fit within your box, or you can advise them on, hey, this doesn't fit in the box. Call Dino. So I think that's where it really switched. I mean, my numbers, my volume had really gone up at that point, making the switch. And there was a couple other things that he shared with me on, you know, keeping the relationships and building on them that really helped out. But I was doing numbers at Bank of America, but I think that's where it really switched, where I was doing more and more. So, um, if I can share anything with you, it's for you, especially you new originators, really know your guidelines, know your loan products, and it's okay to say no. If we can't do every loan. It's really important that you understand that too. You just don't want to submit a file and hope it sticks. It's the worst business plan you can have.
If you could do one thing all over again, what would it be?
I'm really active, and I would have really focused in on spending more time in the community or groups. that I enjoy doing those certain things because I think looking back, I could have created so many more connections. There were natural connections. We both had the interest in the same thing. Um, that would be probably one thing that I would have changed if I was younger versus just trying to get any relationship I can because that's kind of what they taught you, right?
Let's dive into that a little bit more, right? Let's get tactical with how we're going to teach somebody how to go out there and get more business right now. What does that mean exactly?
So I think that that means getting to know who you are. Like, what are your, for me, I'm in a couple of masterminds, and it's really, one of the masterminds is discovering your pillars, like, your four pillars, what's important to you. So now, you know what I would do? I would get on ChatGPT, have a conversation with ChatGPT and go, hey, I need you to dig into who is John Farrell or who you are and have a long conversation, explain all your interest, and then say, hey, can you help me with the business plan on ways to get more business from these specific groups that I enjoy being with? I wish I would have had AI back then. I mean, being completely real, it would have been a game changer. And I think working with people that you enjoy working with is so important, whether it's financial planners, realtors, divorce attorneys, like finding a commonality of something that you enjoy is so much more rewarding and natural when you're building that relationship than just going to a network mixer. And
Do you still go out and actively try and meet agents? Do you still hunt?
majority of my referral partners I met on the transaction. So if I was doing a transaction for a client, maybe I didn't know their agent, so it could be the buyer's agent or the listing agent of the property they were getting into. I That's where I really focused on building my relationships. I know everyone likes to go to broker previews and everyone says broker previews are the way to go. For me, it wasn't. It was on transactions because then they could actually see how our team performs, how we communicate, um, how we go above and beyond, and then the follow up after the fact is really important. Um, and I would do homework on these listing agents too. But, if I just started working with them on a transaction, I'm going to stalk them a little bit on Google, or you can even go into some of the AIs now and say, "Who is this person? Can you explain it?" And it'll give a huge, brief description of them, and then I can kind of know whether or not it would align with someone we want to work with.
And I've noticed in the last several months, you've really stepped up your social media game. You're literally on there every single time I open the damn thing now. You're on Instagram.
Thanks to Neil Home.
Yeah. Which I just signed up for that event, by the way, in Vegas. I think it's in July or something.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to plug it real quick. Really important. If you're doing social media is extremely uncomfortable. I mean, I still am uncomfortable in certain ways. If you're on the teeter tot edge of should I do social or should I not do social, I say just dive in and do it. And one great way to put a little fire under your butt is to go to the Forward event by Neil Home, which is in July, and it's a great event. There's only 1,000. It's real estate agents, mortgage lenders, a couple of insurance people, probably some other industries now because it's getting bigger. But you'll network with some amazing, really good people in our business, and you'll get a lot out of it as far as starting your social. And that's kind of what put a little fire under my butt, and I'm trying to improve every day.
So let's talk about that, because that's a thing that I think a lot of guys in our industry, guys, gals, whatever, in our industry, struggle with, including myself, right? I mean, my gosh, trying to come up with stuff constantly. So let's talk through. Let's give a game plan, right? I mean, old school is let's go out and go to broker previews. Let's go to open houses. Let's go to different events, whatever it is. You're going down the road of AI right now. You're talking about how you wish it was around. Do a deep dive in who you are and all that good stuff. So let's actually give some tactical advice to listeners of something they can actually take action on. What can they do if they want to start a good or even a semi-good social media campaign? And I would urge you guys go. What's your Instagram handle?
John E. Farrell. So John E. like the letter E. Farrell.
And you'll see them on there all the time. You'll see them doing a bunch of stuff, and they're really good. I got to admit, like you do a good job on them. But only because I've attempted to do this and I've taken a step back again because I keep taking a step back. There's so much to learn. So I believe what I got to do is, and I've created this now. Like I got my I guess category, and now I'm creating topics. And I thought I was kind of good, but then somebody's like, no, like this is stupid. What's the hook for each of these topics? And then what's the three things or whatever it is you're doing, right? And then what's it going to look like when it starts? So I'm like, okay, I just paralyzed me for another 3 months now. I gotta sit and do all that. What is it that you do? How do you structure your social media campaign? Can you teach everybody?
It's it's always evolving because tech is just changing so quick. So, just to give you an example, highly produced shorts were a cool thing, and now they're not that cool of a thing.
Highly produced shorts aren't, or just
Yes, highly produced shorts. So if you're having a bunch of B rolls and a bunch of fluff, people, yeah, because it's been done. It's been overdone. I'm not saying that it's not. There's still, a couple of my buddies that are big. They still have stuff that just goes bazonkers. But people love real, authentic you, being you, stuff. Now, one thing I like doing because honestly, when I get one way to start is we're all interacting with clients. We all have transactions. If there's a big learning lesson that you think would be helpful to maybe a first time home buyer out there, my advice is write it down because you'll forget about it. You're like, oh, guy, this would be perfect. I got to do this on Instagram, and you'll forget. So if you can get a little book like this, okay, and write down your notes, you'll get some content ideas. If you want a simple way to do it, you can do Neil's content accelerator program. But if you just want to figure out like, hey, I'm going to start, I'm committed to starting, then just jot down notes on, some things that happened that day that you think would help the viewers. And then from there, you can, if you want, you can reach out to me. I can give you a quick script on how to kind of organize what you're going to talk about. And of course, yes, the hook is very important. And then thank God we have AI because I go into AI and I use it like crazy. So I'll go in and I don't plug in a prompt right away and then just go accept the first version that comes out. I keep digging in. But the best way to do, if you want to get a campaign going or just get going, is figure out what could impact someone out there, write it down, and then get into chat or just write your own little script. Just for notes, and start off with just one short a week.
how long does it need to be?
Oh, so that's ever changing. It used to be 60 seconds, then it was 45 seconds. Now it's 30 seconds. I mean, if you can, and which is hard to do. I have some that have gone longer, and when you go to analytics, you get a little bummed out because you're like, geez, people only lasted 8 seconds, right? You're like, this thing's a minute and 10 seconds. They only lasted 8 minutes or 8 seconds. I suck. And then you get in a rabbit hole. No, whatever you got to do, like just the important thing is just to go out and do it first. Just get comfortable with doing it. You're going to fail. But keep it simple.
I remember seeing some of your first ones. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, there's still some, my wife is like, wow, that was really lame. I'm like, thanks, honey. But you get so many at bats, you just keep putting it out there, and people. By the way, people forget. They're not gonna. You're gonna have the biggest foul, and people will forget it. They won't even remember it. You'll be embarrassed at first, and you're gonna have your friends knock you. My friends knock me all the time. I'm sure they got some side group chats that I'm not on, and they say some loving, horrible stuff about me. But my advice to you is just keep it simple. If you're not doing it, just do one. Start off with one and commit to doing one a week. And I can send you the outline of how to do that, or you can go to NCA.
Well, go to Johnny Farrell and ask him. Just DM him
Yeah.
for that. So let's. I don't want to leave this too quick. As far as the hook goes, right? I've been studying a little bit myself, and it seems like the hook is everything. Tell me what a hook needs to be like. Teach us what do we need to know about a hook?
A hook, the average viewer, you've got 3 seconds for them not to, basically, to either stay or swipe. So whatever you say has to be so important. And I still fail in this, by the way, within those first 3 seconds. And it usually, you want it to be something that is, well, let me give you an example. So people have had a lot of success talking about Trump, which is very polarizing, for whichever side you're on, right? So if you want to captivate the audience and you want people to actually watch whatever you're talking about, you've got to say something that is so outrageously curious to hear about within the first 3 seconds. It's got to be, and your hook, you want it. The rule of thumb is you want it to be no more than 6 words.
No more than 6 words for the hook, or the first 3 seconds.
I have hooks that are longer than 6 words. I just heard this from someone else, and they said, and they're big influencer. They said 6 words, but it's kind of hard to do a hook in 6 words, in my opinion. So you want to keep it short, but it's got to be something like,
Give us an example. Do it.
some of the hooks used to be like, here's the three. The overplayed stuff is, here's the 3 things you need to do to buy your first home.
Does it always have to be about what you're going to say, or can you just hook them with that and then laugh and actually talk about what you're talking about?
Yeah, whatever your style is, that wouldn't be my style. Okay, so the best thing to do is figure out what you want to talk about. Go to ChatGPT, and Chat will know how to write a hook, and it's got to meet your style. Because really, what you want to do is you want to have engagement from people that are similar to you, and you're going to have people that don't like it. Like, there's people that don't like me. That's cool, but something that's captivating that will keep that viewer there is really important.
I'm looking you up right now. You got 5,000 as of today. You got 5,785 followers. How many did you have 6 months ago?
1900, somewhere in there. So it's been growing. It's working. It's a lot tougher to grow your Instagram now compared to people that got into it 3 or 4 years ago. But no, it's growing. I mean, I do have one reel that hit. It's almost at 10 million.
So now let's do this now. I'm gonna compare it to something else. Totally different, but hang with me. A loan officer will say, all right, I'm going to get dressed up Saturday and I'm going to go on open houses and I'm going to just go talk to these real estate agents, tell them how great I am, and see if I can get some business out of them. Maybe bring them whatever they have, right? Whatever you have that your thing is. So in relation, you're out doing all these videos, right? You're getting attention from various agents, various people that need loans. Both start something, but neither of them, I don't think, finish it. I'm in the play of you're going to open houses. You got to have a follow-up plan. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It rarely works, right? In the social media game, follow-up plan is you got to keep doing it so you're consistent. But then, I'm asking the question because I don't know, is there a follow-up game? Otherwise, all of it's for nothing. Like, how do you finish that to actually convert it to business?
So it's going to be, it'll be very challenging to follow up with everyone on your Instagram. So my advice would be, when you start following specific agents, or specific agents start following you, and you actually enjoy their content and you think they'd be someone that you like, you can actually save them as a favorite what what you want to do though is you do want to engage with them and authentically engage with them. Like, like um, there's a realtor that I would have never met if it wasn't for Instagram. Her name's Martha in Florida. She's got some great content. She's a really interesting, like fun lady. And so we communicate, not every day, but we're communicating. And I've never met her, but if I walked into an open house in Florida and she was there, it would be like we knew each other. So that's a great way if you're going out to, open houses on the weekend. Um, it's almost like it's a warm lead. Like you kind of have a connection with that person, and it's a lot easier than walking in. Like I went to an open house a couple weeks ago, and this guy walked in. First thing he's like, "We got 30-year fixed rates at so and so," and the agent just started laughing, which I felt bad for this. I actually felt bad for the guy, but she's it just was a bad apple. So if you're on social media, one of the cool things is maybe you haven't physically met this person yet. You've been communicating them. It's a lot easier to walk in and just start talking about, how their kids are doing awesome at baseball. Like you saw the home run that their kid hit, or, their daughter, you know, did an amazing in track, whatever it is. And you're getting to an emotional conversation, which is going to be a lot better than talking about 30-year fixed rates.
Yeah. So would you say your social media game is mostly to meet referral partners or clients, or to boost your ego, or all of them?
It's not to boost my ego, because I probably would have quit a long time ago. Be like, man, this sucks. Okay. This is too hard.
Clients or referral partners, or both?
It's mostly referral partners, I would think. But I do have clients on there, that was hard, to be honest with you. That was a hard thing. Like, I'm like, man, these clients are going to know that I have tattoos now.
So you still care after all these years?
I don't anymore. But at first, when I was first going out there, like when I was first getting out there, I was like, some clients haven't seen me for, whatever. Being honest, I thought about that stuff. The cool thing is your clients that do follow you will get to know you more, and they'll either like you a lot more, or maybe they won't like you. But it's just for me, it was referral partners, because to drive here, if you're in LA or here in Orange County, to drive everywhere like we used to do, it takes a long time. So I can connect with so many more agents in such a short window and provide some value that hopefully they like.
To go along with what you were saying, just about doing things that you enjoy, being with people that you enjoy and all that, and just being your authentic self. I'll say when I first started, I used to wear suits every day, because that's what everybody did in my office. And then slowly I started doing a little bit better, and then I got some nicer suits, and I did a little bit better, and then I lost the jacket, and it was just a tie and a shirt. And then I did a little bit better, and then I lost the tie. It was always just like nice shoes, slacks, and a nice shirt. And then I did a little bit better, and then it went to slacks and a golf shirt. I did a little bit more, started making a little bit more money, and then it went to and this was back when Tommy Bahama was really big, right? It was like nice Tommy Bahama shorts and a nice Tommy Bahama shirt. And then my now wife was like, you got to stop wearing that stuff, right? And then the more money I made, the more I dressed down. I just started, next thing I know, like, granted, it's not summertime yet, but probably in another month, it's going to be shorts, t-shirt, and flip-flops. And I stay that way until November. And then I'll be like, jeans or whatever, and t-shirt and closed-toed shoes. But I don't even care anymore. And what happened is, and it's a good lesson for all of you. You don't try and be somebody you're not. People will like you more when you're yourself, right? And I remember one time I had a client, husband and wife, that came to my office. And once again, I was wearing my shorts and flip-flops, and they come in, and the husband looks right at the wife, and he goes, I told you I didn't need to dress up. and just like that, man, we were instantly friends. just like that.
Right.
They've been my clients for over 15 years now. I've done their loans, their kids' loans, and their friends' loans, you know?
From what I remember, you were always dressed to the nines back in the day. I think most of us were. At least you're still wearing t-shirts though. Half of my time, I don't even have a shirt on half of the time.
Well, I'm fortunate now. I actually love our name so much, and I didn't put lending on it down here. It's just ethos because I figure like I've always hated wearing branded stuff, but the so ethos lending I wouldn't wear. Ethos by itself, I just think it's a great brand and I love it. So all my stuff is now ethos.
I'm waiting for that tattoo of ethos across your chest.
Oh, do I? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, so let's finish this up. I got a few more questions to ask you. What's your favorite book?
That's a hard question. I think right now, because I have, okay, real quick, I have ADD to the max. So reading a big, thick book is not in my forte. Um, I, so one of the, my favorite books recently has been Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones. I really like it. And it's very easy to read.
I'm curious with a person who has ADD.
You see me moving around all the time.
I see you trying to focus. Anyways, I got a question for you. So I went and sat through the Exactly What to Say event that Todd Bookspan and Deborah Bird were putting on. And I have to say, I really loved it. I will also say that I was literally just exhausted, mentally fatigued by the time I was done. I went in just expecting it to be like another one. I'm going to listen. I'm going to do a few text messages on the side and whatever. But because there was so much to learn, I was fully engaged the entire time, and it like literally kept me working. So I'm curious for an ADD guy, is that great because it holds your attention, or is it difficult?
Well, I actually sat through that. So I did that class, the first one. And if you talk to Deborah, she'll share with you that I would have blurps in the middle of it, singing some like R&B song that was like, I would be, I don't want to say that song on here, but it was pretty uh, raun- raunchy, funny. And there was some, it was a mixed group of people. It was hard, but I would do certain things like that. Sh- if you could ask her, she joined in. She was sitting on the other side of the table. But yeah, it's hard to sit. Sitting in class is very hard. But with that class, it was very there. There's a lot, there for you and I and anyone that's been in the business. Like if we would have known that a lot of those magic words back then, it would really help out.
Say here's something else to learn too. John mentioned ChatGPT earlier, and I guess I think I'm better than most people, but I still discover new things constantly. And one thing just hit me right now, which I was doing a while ago, and then just forgot, and now I'm going to start doing. I'm going to add it. So when you talk to ChatGPT and you tell it to help you draft something and come up with an idea, actually tell it to do it in a way that Phil Jones from Exactly What to Say would do it. And it's amazing the language that shifts when you say that. So it's a lot to always remember, but when you are doing in chat, just remember to prompt it to give you words that Phil Jones would say from Exactly What to Say.
And check it, because I just did this. It's funny you say that, because I have a client that has been very transactional, and we aren't sure if we're going to get it. So I basically used an email and said, "Hey, I would really like you to help me with this email and use Phil Jones." It said, "I don't know if this is for you, but," and I'm like, "No, no, no. I've been talking to this client that'll sound a little weird if I." So, but it's true. It's powerful. You can do a lot with it, especially if you're angry on an email too. Like, you don't just put your angriness into that and say, "Hey, I need you to settle down this response a little bit." It really helps out. So,
What about a favorite quote? Do you have a favorite quote?
success is never owned; it's leased, and rent is due every day.
Yeah, it's a good one. If I picked you up and dropped you off somewhere in the United States where you still have all the wisdom that you have, right? All the experience. You have some money, but not a lot, and you don't know anybody. What would you do? How would you get in there and become somebody well known so that you can start closing a bunch of loans?
Find the first pickleball court. I would. The best way to meet people. I would meet people at the pickleball court, and I'm sure there's going to be some very influential people there that I could actually start getting business from in that area. Pickleball court.
Pickleball. All right. And if you went to a pickleball court, how would you how would you get to know the people and talk to them and let them know what you do for a living?
I enjoy pickleball. I would go out and just start talking, and just have a conversation, like a natural conversation. I wouldn't go out and say, "Hi, I'm John Farrell, the mortgage guy." Blah 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 blah. I would just have a normal conversation, and that's what I would do. I would go to, if you like skateboarding, go to the skate park. If you like tennis, go to the tennis court.
So it sounds like you're saying just do something that you enjoy doing so you can put yourself in an environment where like-minded people are.
Yeah. Some people might not like going to the bar.
I tried that a long time ago. Yeah. And it didn't work. The gym worked, church worked, the bar just never worked. I thought about it years later because I had to give somebody advice, and I said, it's funny how when you're becoming buddies with the guys at the bar, somehow they like you, they want to hang out with you, but they don't want to trust you with their money. I mean, when it comes to money, I still remember there was some things like, because I went through a divorce as well, right, after 2008, and then I had to work my way back and really kind of come up with different ways of our new world, right? Just like now, it's a new world again, so there's new ways, right? But I remember I was single during that time, and I was going out all the time, and I knew everybody, man, but when I look back at how many loans I got from everybody, it was very, very little. I can just look at my 530 squad at the gym. That was very little. And how many loans I got out of all those people was a whole different ball game. Right. But again, I think like just what you said, right, works. Go put yourself in an environment of like-minded people because you'll thrive in that environment. And I think that's super important. Yes, sometimes you got to go do things that are a little uncomfortable, like John's doing social media. He's actually pretty uncomfortable from what I know, but he does it every single day and he looks great doing it. And you would never know he's uncomfortable and he's sticking to it. And sometimes you got to do that. But at the end of the day, put yourself in an environment that you will thrive in. I think that's going to be where your highest and best is.
It's going to be more natural.
So if somebody wants to reach out to you, get some advice, or just follow you, tell me the best way to do that. And I know on Instagram, it's John E. Farrell. Do you have any other platforms that you're on?
I do. I'm on TikTok, but I don't really go on there. Facebook. I just went on Facebook the other day and I was kind of blown away on how my work page grew. I had no idea because I don't go on there that much. But you can just Google John Farrell, U.S. Bank, and you'll see all my contact info is on there. And one very bold thing you can do is believe in yourself. I've always had the inner critic in me that just constantly will try to batter myself down on being 100% real. One bold move is, for me, what's really helped is affirmations in the morning. I wake up, journal affirmations, and just believe in yourself because all of us are capable of hitting way beyond our goals. And it took me a long time to believe that.
I love that. That's good advice right there. And hey, for all you guys listening, if you guys found value in this, do me a favor, share it, tell some people about it, and take the bits and pieces out of all of this, the nuggets as I call them, and implement them. Remember, if you don't implement something, nothing will ever happen, right? No matter how good the advice is, no matter how many books you read, how many podcasts you listen to, if you don't actually step up and implement anything, nothing good will ever come of it, right? You'll be the smartest person that doesn't do anything. So
true.
Implement, share the stuff that you've learned today. And I think by sharing, there's good things that come out of it. Just it's good to be a teacher as well. And remember, we love you guys. We're here for you. We're here to help you empower, equip, and educate you. It's the way lending should be done. All right. John, you have any final words?
Just go out and start social. Just do it. It's hard. Just do one video. It's if you need help, reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care, guys. We'll see you on the next one.